Hey, just want to talk to you guys real quick. I just felt like I should kind of comment on the conversation that's being had recently, you know, not just in America, not just in England, but across the world in general. Honestly, it's amazing seeing not only just the protests, but just across social media and just in real life, like the limited interactions that we have with each other these days. It's good to see like conversations about race and colour being had, and yeah, it's sort of something that's been not really talked about a lot, to be honest. Which, you know, it is awkward. It is weird, especially in countries like America and like England, where the majority of people are white. So the majority of people that you're going to interact with are people that aren't going to necessarily understand or going to be able to relate to kind of issues that face people of colour, minorities, you know. So it tends to make it quite awkward anytime it gets brought up. So to see people posting about it online, talking about it, just keeping the conversation going, I think no matter what you think about, I've seen a lot of people that are like, they're just being fake, they're just promoting Black Lives Matter just for clout, whatever the fuck that is. Or, you know, just to, what's the word they're using? Like, you know, fake activist kind of whatever, you know. I'm sure there is some of that, but regardless, one person shares something, 2 people see that, 4 people see that. It's just how it works. It's one of the amazing things about the internet. It's one of the amazing things about my YouTube channel in particular, that if you followed me for a while, you'd know that I have neglected this channel on several occasions, and the fact that keep getting followers coming in, keep getting views coming in through the minimal amount that I upload my music is amazing. And it just shows you how powerful the internet is at just spreading a message. Someone thinks something's cool or needs to be heard, and they pass that on. And that's briefly kind of touched on what I wanted to kind of address today. Obviously, with like, oh man, you can't even like. I'm trying not to like do any cuts in this and just trying to speak freely, because I rarely do on this channel. Like, I like kind of making things concise and kind of cutting all the awkward bits out. But like I said, we're not doing that anymore. We're not cutting any awkwardness. We're just going to speak. So yeah, what I'm trying to say is that obviously, you know, black people in America and England are being murdered. Let's just call it murder, because that's what it is, by police officers. And that is extremely serious. And again, that is amazing that that's being addressed, and riots, protests, whatever needs to happen, and that's amazing. But what I feel really positive about is, again, the conversation that's being had across the board, and especially within my community of creatives and musicians. I'm seeing a lot of people on my photography Insta, a lot of black models, specifically black alternative models, are now speaking out about just how invisible we're made to seem in that community. And it kind of just got my mind thinking on myself as a black person that mainly works within alternative music. I've been in so many like pop punk bands and metal bands, and everything. Like, honestly, since I was 13, 14, I can't even tell you how many bands I've been a part of and joined and mishmashed and whatever. And yeah, in every single one of those bands, I was the only black person. Legit can't think of one other band that I've been in where like another person of colour. Maybe one. My first band, we had an Asian drummer. That was cool. Cold Fusion, 2005. That was awesome. We were terrible, but but yeah. The point is that for several years, I've been part of an industry and contributed, like, literally given my life and soul to a predominantly white genre, which is interesting, because obviously if you look at the history of it, any type of guitar music, alternative, whatever it is, no matter how heavy or weird it gets, all that stuff originates from black music, from rhythm and blues. Rhythm and blues is basically rock and roll. Sorry, is rhythm and blues basically repackaged to sound more appealing to a different audience. It's the same music, which is weird that now, like, we call, like, R&B is something completely different. When it started, R&B was people like Muddy Waters and, Chuck Berry and stuff like that back in the day. Like, that's R&B, that's rock and roll. But obviously now the reality of it is that, like, 99.9% of musicians within, like, especially metal, and yeah, definitely especially pop punk, alternative rock, grunge that's weirdly making a comeback now, all that, like, you're only seeing white people in that. Very rarely are you seeing black people, especially on, like, a local scene as well. Like, I don't really know a lot of people of colour within the alternative scene in the UK, in London, that, but like, if there are, like, I already know them and, like, they're friends of mine, but, like, I can count them on one hand. It's crazy. So I think it's amazing that we're having this conversation that is slightly uncomfortable to a lot of people that operate in these circles, because yeah, it's like for a long time I've been in situations where it's just me as the only black person in the band, and whenever any issues have come up, you kind of feel a bit alone and don't really, you kind of feel awkward kind of bringing it up, or if you do, you're looking into this too much, I wasn't, didn't mean it like that, and you kind of get swept under the rug and pushed away. And it's just great that we're not doing that anymore. It's great that, okay, everyone's like, let's actually listen and see what's going on with this, We're actually going to talk and try and understand each other, because that's the main thing. Once you understand someone, then, mate, like, that's like you've done half the work there. Like, I think as a black person in alternative music, there's always just that kind of caution, that fear, and I think it's just a bit unknown of just how you're going to be perceived, how people are going to treat you. I did a Twitter post, like a thread on Twitter the other day, of just random stories that came to mind, of just times where, race has been a factor in just me trying to be a musician and trying to make the music that I want to do. But even now, I was just thinking of a time where I joined a band that had a singer previous to me, and so they had like a bit of a following already. And I think I've been in the band like kind of like a week or so, and we were like, okay, cool, this is official. We did like a photo shoot, and we recorded some new songs and put them up. And it was like our big launch on MySpace, and we had like a new layout and everything. And yeah, I just remember there was just this one fan who was absolutely livid, like called me every name under the sun, was just fucking furious that, you know, this black person had replaced, you know, the old singer of their band. And yeah, mate, I completely blanked that. That was 10 years ago. Even at the time, I didn't really pay much attention. And I remember like everything we put up, they'd be in the comments and write nasty shit. And this is the early days of YouTube as well. Like I'm talking 2009, 2010, before YouTube was really like popping off. Like we'd upload stuff and yeah, just this one guy would just be in the comments all the time. And yeah, I just remember, any kind of stories that myself or other people of color or any other black people, kind of anytime we kind of share our stories of things that have happened to us, and we mention our friends and colleagues and stuff, we're not attacking you in that. It's like, it's the conversation was never had. It was never explained at that time, hey, this is something that I can't change about myself, and this person hates me for that. So, you know, I feel like I need to do something about that and not just sweep it under the rug. But yeah, with that put aside, my band members at the time, who again, all amazing people, they were just like, let's just stop replying to this guy, you know, just leave it, just, you know, we like stop arguing with him online or whatever, we just need to focus on the music. And I'm like, I just couldn't do that. Like, I don't know, it's just, luckily, like, I mean, since then, like a couple of little bits like that have happened, but and everyone says this, my YouTube channel is like such an anomaly. Again, I'm not a huge channel, but like for the amount of subscribers I have and for the amount of content that I put out, it's like overwhelmingly positive, and there are very, very, very few negative, like hardly any like racial comments and stuff, which I'm super lucky about. So it's not like I spend every waking day fighting people online. But, you know, it is something that pops up every now and again, and it's weird. But yeah, there were just times like this when, you know, like stuff like that had happened. And, you know, I just felt like people around me didn't quite understand. The main story that I told on Twitter the other day was, and then this is like completely separate band that I was in 2012. And it was the time there were the football Euros I think they just happened in Ukraine. They were across Ukraine and Poland. And I remember at the time the news was telling everyone so Nazism had arisen again in that region of the world. And it was like, basically it was super kicking off, like majorly. And especially around the time of the World Cup. And they were advising all the England black players, like, you know, don't bring your families, like they're gonna get hurt. Like, it was insane. So that was over the summer, obviously, for the Euros. And then just after that, like literally just after the summer, we got an email through to the band account. And this promoter wanted to hire us to do a tour across Russia and Ukraine. It must have been Ukraine. Yeah, it was like a 2-week tour across Russia and Ukraine, and I think some other really cool bands were on it as well. And yeah, like I remember getting a call from our other singer. It was like, oh mate, have you just seen the email? Like, it sounds sick. Like, you know, like, and European tours are the best. Anyone that was in like that 2012 pop punk scene, if you were ever lucky to play across Europe, they just treat you so much better. Like, it's awesome. But yeah, this particular time didn't seem like a great time, especially like those countries in particular. And I was like, yeah, dude, this sounds great, but I don't know. This is a bit, you know, it's not for me, this one. And again, like, I kind of downplayed it. I wasn't too like super serious about it. I was just like, kind of like how I'm talking now. I was just like, yeah, dude, have you seen the news? You know, and I feel like I was met with more, I don't want to say animosity, but just more of like, oh, for fuck's sake, you know, like, really wanted to do this tour, rather than, you know, the appropriate response, which is, oh yeah, Nazis are killing people that look like you, so let's probably not go to this country right now. Yeah, and it's because they didn't understand. They didn't understand what it's like being a person that looks like me, being in a band like that, you know? Because it's not common. There are so few people that look like me and play the music that I play. So yeah, guys, it's just, and again, that makes it awkward. It just does. I'm sorry, but it does. Like, when you're in a room with 4 or 5 like white dudes and you're the only black person, and like, you know, an issue about race comes up. Like, someone like, I think of all the times that we've gotten, any band I've been in, anytime we've been given shit for our band, it's rarely been about our music, because, not to sound like fucking arrogant prick, like, it's been good music. Like, any band I've been in, we've like worked our asses off to make great music. So any hate that we've had as a band, I know obviously all music is subjective, but, you know, it was like 9 times out of 10 it would be kind of just directly towards me, just, you know, just some random racist bullshit, you know, rather than us being a terrible band. And yeah, and I think a lot of people in the past would have preferred to just be like, yeah, don't talk about that, don't rustle any feathers, just, you know, leave it. So in conclusion, I am super happy that the conversation we're having now is one where we're going to try and not be so awkward around each other, and going to try and communicate more. And hopefully things will improve, and we'll, you know, yeah, that's all we can hope for. Just see some sort of improvement, and just a bit of change, you know. I don't really know, man. Yeah, I just wanted to talk for a bit. My laptop's going in for repairs, and they reckon it's going to be like 2 weeks. So I was like, I want to just put something out now. Like, I can't sit on this any longer. I just need to put this out. Otherwise, I'm just going to be sitting there being like, oh, I should have vlogged, and can't do anything about it for ages. But that's another point. I don't like being in this like entertainment YouTube cycle. You feel like, oh, I need to comment on stuff now, but I still want people to be talking about Black Lives and Black Lives Matter in 2 weeks when my computer is back. I want to be able to turn on my computer and still see people, you know, talking about this issue, because it's not just some trend. Like, it's not just some random thing we're going to chat about for a bit and then forget about. I want this to be the new standard of how we treat each other and how we talk to each other. So yeah, that's all I felt like saying. Hope everyone's well, hope you're enjoying quarantine wherever you are in the world. But yeah, take care. I'm gonna go chill out, take it easy, get a bevy, and yeah, just keep the discussion going. Mwah, too sweet.